Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Kohaku from 20th Century Games. Kohaku is a tile-laying game for 1 to 4 players in which players are trying to gather various koi fish, combine them with various features, and try to ultimately score as many points as possible by doing so. In the game, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and draft a pair of tiles, any 2 adjacent tiles from this board over here. So for example, maybe I go ahead and I want, this might be useful. In fact, these 2 over here, I'm going to go ahead and grab these 2 over here, and I'm going to put them down into my own tableau. Your first 2 tiles are going to have to touch. Subsequent tiles will give you a bit more freedom. From there, we're going to take the feature tile and move it out to the matching feature. We're going to take the koi fish tile, move it out, and we're going to replenish from the board over here, at which point we'll go ahead and just simulate a few turns before going into, how I feel, review, all that stuff. So, from over here, we're going to have the next player go. They'll go ahead and they'll grab, let's say, they'll just go ahead and grab, this one wants per baby fish, which is not great for any of these. This is a simple 5 points. You know what, we'll go for the simple 5 points. We're going to take these over here, pop these together. We'll explain more about how scoring works shortly, but the main thing you need to know right now is this guy's going to go ahead and slide down here. We're going to go ahead and slide out 2 new over here. So, we got these. That's going to have two dragonflies on it. That one likes dragonflies. This guy likes dragonflies, but that, we're going to go ahead and grab from the center here. So, we're going to place this down over here. Now you do have to have feature tiles touching koi fish tiles and vice versa. So over here we're going to place this here, which is setting ourselves up nicely for a few things, but we'll explain more about why that all matters shortly. We're going to have this player take out that player's going to take out this over here, and then we're trying to figure out how to benefit from these over here. These tiles over here like having baby fish, of which we have 1, but there's a dragonfly and a baby fish over here. We could go for another turtle, which is not the craziest concept, but if we're going to do that, we may as well match it again. You know what, we're going to do that. We're going to match it over here with another white fish over here. So maybe we'll be able to get something that benefits and rewards white fish on this person's tile. We're going to slide this down, put out a new one over here. We got another baby fish tile, and we have another dragonfly. This is a black and yellow koi fish / baby tile, which again will give us a lot of things to think about as we place things. Now we still want yellow koi fish over here on this side. We want to figure out what the best way to get that is, because this one over here is going to reward us for having various white fish over here. So maybe that's not the worst one to place over here. We're going to place this down over here like so, and then, you know what, that doesn't actually help me quite as much as I'd like. I spend too much time thinking about how to optimize even in a fictional game over here. You know, we're just going to go ahead and do it. We're going to place it down over here like so, and then we're going to place this down over here like so. So we're placing this down over here. We now have this tile over here surrounded by 3 yellow fish, a yellow white, and yellow black. We're going to go ahead and slide this down over here, putting out 2 new tiles over here, and see what else we get. This one wants black koi fish next to it, and over here we have a white fish with 2 baby fish over there. This player over here is going to try to take advantage of that. We're going to go ahead and gather the baby fish tile over here, placing this over here, and then throw the white fish down over here around there. That's going to reward you 1 point for the baby. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So as of right now, this is a 4-point tile. We're going to go ahead and put new ones out over here, and then we'll just go through a quick explanation of some things while we make sure we understand everything. Over here, we still want to enclose this with a yellow fish, which means we're going to have to take this if we want to do so. This one wants black fish, so you know what we're going to do? We're going to place this one over here and that one over there, and this one is going to go over here because this one already is benefiting from 2 blackfish. That's generally the puzzle you're trying to place out as you go over here. What you're doing is you're grabbing various feature tiles and various koi fish tiles, and you're trying to optimize the features and the koi fish to score as many points as possible. Over here, this tile is going to give you 1 point per dragonfly. We have 1, 2, 3 points per dragonfly. Over here, this tile is giving you 2 points for each adjacent yellow fish, and 12 points if it's completely surrounded by yellow fish, which it is. Over here, we have 2 points for every white fish in the row or column, which we only have 1 for right now, but we'll get more as we continue to play. And over here, we have 2 points for every black fish, and again, 12 points if we completely surrounded, which we have a decent chance of doing so by the end of this game. Similarly, over here, we have 5 points for each of these turtles. Just a plain, simple 5 points. No extra things needed. This is 1 point for every matching baby fish. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you continue to draft tiles, you'll continue to lean into those point scoring mechanisms to try to score as many points as possible. You're going to be doing this until you draft 24 tiles into your system over here. And you're trying to optimize your score across those tiles, trying to figure out the most efficient tiles to gather, to place, to be able to build out the most rewarding koi fish pond, taking into account the koi fish and the various features and the way the koi fish score. And that's basically how you play Kohaku. You're playing just a simple tile set collection game where you gather various tiles, you place them down, try to optimize your scoring, and do so more efficiently and better than the other players in this game. Which brings us to the review, starting off with ease of play. I mean, it's a really easy game to dive into. There's player aids that will give you the, over here you have a few player aids that will just show you all the various things you can expect. There's not a lot of complexity to the system. There's just a bunch of point scoring tiles, a few ways you're going to try to match up the tiles around them to optimize your score, and past that, it's take 2 tiles, place them into your board. They do not have to touch, but they do have to touch your general pool of tiles, but they don't have to touch each other. Try to do that as efficiently as possible as you gather all the tiles until the game ends, and then just score it all up. In fact, the hardest thing to do in this game is probably the scoring, and it's not that hard. It's just the hardest thing to actually finalize as you go through the game. As far as what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking in the game, starting off with what I like, which is the simple point scoring optimization puzzle. I like point scoring games in general. I'm a big fan of the genre. I find there's so many games that give you a rewarding way to, like, here's 8 ways to score points. Now figure out as a player how to optimize around that, how to do that more efficiently than other players. I like that system, and I like it in Kohaku as well. This one does lean a bit more towards the gateway side, for better and for worse. I'd say for better in terms of the accessibility, how easy it is to get people up and running. From all the point scoring games, this one may have the best combination of just how simple and easy it is to dive into it while still being rewarding at the same time, without devolving into any degree of complexity as far as the more complex ways things could score or the more complex rule sets. This is as great as being a gateway game as far as being a point scoring, optimization, tile laying, set collection game that is incredibly easy to dive into and fairly rewarding to actually go through and do it. Kohaku hits that niche perfectly. As far as things I don't like in the game, ultimately kind of what I touched upon already, which is it is a little one-dimensional in this genre. I find that while I love the point scoring optimization genre in general, Kohaku I think is a game I would have appreciated significantly more 5-6 years ago compared to looking at it now when we have a ton of games, an absolute ton of games that do this kind of system incredibly well. I think Kohaku still is a great gateway game and a very accessible game in that genre, but I think for me it's a little simpler, a little bit more one-dimensional than what I'm looking for. So it's not that I have any complaint against Kohaku, it's more that I just almost wish I did a bit more. As it is, I enjoy it, I like it, it's just on the simpler side. As far as what I can see others not liking, first of all, or I say really only, the main thing is you're not going to finish everything. You'll start off all high-minded of, you're going to build out all these tiles, you're going to continuously expand and continue to fulfill every goal, but inherently at a certain point you're running out of tiles, you're not able to build everything. And so to a certain point you do want to plan around having like these nice closers that will give you simply 5 points for being on the edges, because you won't be able to surround everything. You'll get as much as you can done, but you'll surround a few tiles, you'll get extra points for here, and you'll just try to score up the whole thing and see who scored the most based on how they did it. But this is not a game where you finish everything. This is a game where you start projects, and some of them you finish, and others, well, the game ends and you just score as many points as you possibly can from them. As far as final thoughts on Kohaku, like I said already, I enjoy Kohaku. It is simple, it is straightforward, it still gives me that point optimization tile laying fun that I like in a bunch of games, and Kohaku is no different. It gives me a good system that is fun and rewarding. But also, to me, it's a bit more on the gateway side. To me, it's a bit more one-dimensional, and it doesn't do as much as I would like from games in the genre currently. So for me, I enjoy it. It's a 3.5 out of 5. It is rewarding, it is simple, it is easy to dive into. I don't know if I'd personally ask to play it, but I think I'd always be comfortable playing it just because it does have that rewarding feel while being very easy to set up, to table, to teach others, all of those things. It's just, I mean, its biggest selling point is it does something well while being incredibly accessible and easy to teach and play and get going for what it's doing. So a 3.5 out of 5, a great game, one that doesn't do necessarily as much as some others in the genre, but one that is very good at being a good gateway game in the genre. As far as other game recommendations, first of all, if you're looking for something on a similar level of depth, but possibly with a bit less repetitiveness and a bit more to think about as you go through it, the Whatnot Cabinet I think is in the same level of depth, while giving you just a drop more to think about and consider, and just less repetition throughout the experience, but a similar game. I'd highly recommend the Whatnot Cabinet. And if you're looking for something that is a drop higher in the complexity, or even just the variability of the experience, Cascadia is a game that I will barely ever stop recommending in this genre. It is point scoring, it is optimization, it has all those things, it is easy to play, it's accessible, but I think it gives you a lot more variability to the experience and more to keep you engaged across multiple plays. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.